Hey guys, welcome into Likey Top Sports. Entering into week 9 college football. Man, it was a crazy week 8. Third Saturday in October. We're going to talk about that. But first, as you guys know, I'm Josh. I'm here with my co-host Naveen. Before we dig into talk about week 9, we're going to recap a few things. And then we'll preview the Tennessee-Kentucky game. We'll talk about Vandy, LSU, Georgia, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, USC. We'll talk about Florida, Cannon, Billy Napier, the AP poll. And then we'll talk about Ole Miss being -4.5 at Ole Miss, Vandy, LSU being favored. Week 7 recap. Giants, huge collapse, give up 33 in the fourth quarter to the Broncos. Who's hot, who's not? We got our week 8 interesting games. Vikings +3.5 against the Chargers. Cowboys +3.5 against the Lions. And then we close it out with the Green Bay Packers being -3.5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, a lot to unpack going into this episode. We're really in the thick of this huge stretch that we're in of nonstop games every day of the week. But before we get into what was kind of a week to forget as a Tennessee fan, I just want to go ahead and address the elephant in the room. And I know Naveen probably he's thinking, man, where is Josh going with this? Kind of going off script with this. Our national championship winning baseball coach at Tennessee, Tony Vitello, being courted to be the next manager of the San Francisco Giants. A lot of things happening on the Hill right now in regards to that, with Tony's decision being absolutely agonizing for him to make. Obviously, he has the aspirations to be a Major League Baseball manager, but Tennessee, he loves us here, man. He won a national championship. This is his program. To be honest with you, Naveen, this has all been coming out since Saturday afternoon. It almost made, I would imagine, most of Tennessee fans pretty apathetic to the football game that night, to know that we could possibly be losing Tony V to the major leagues. And I really hope that we get some good news. I think if Tony's still our head coach tomorrow morning, he's going to stay at Tennessee. Big decision to make. But in the NIL era right now, when we talk about revenue sharing, there's been a lot of nastiness that's going on in the Tennessee athletic department that a lot of the lay people like me and Naveen and a few of our listeners could only understand. And a lot of backdoor politics. The revenue sharing between Tennessee baseball is being scrutinized with sharing money with like Lady Vols softball and the Lady Vols basketball team. And Naveen, I'd like to get you to chime in here because, I know how you feel about some of these things. And I know we're kind of going a little different direction, but I'd like you to chime in here. If you're Danny White, you literally have the Beatles of college baseball. You have an absolute rock star as your head coach. Tony Vitello is the face of college baseball right now. He's, probably pined over by all female Tennessee fans across the country. He's a handsome Italian man. I won't take anything away from him, and he's a winner. Mm-hmm. And he's brought a sense of pride to the university. Brought the school its first baseball national championship. I think this guy gets his, he calls it a shot. And Danny White, upcharge Danny. I mean, all he cares about is money, man, at the end of the day. And to see the contentious relationship kind of play out here right now with our head baseball coach and Danny White, it's a bit disheartening. Where do you see this, when we talk about this revenue sharing? I know that baseball isn't a big money maker like football or basketball, but we're talking about the guy that's You just check the trophy case. He's the only one that's won a national title in the last 30 years almost at Tennessee. So, albeit in the major sports, I mean, you could probably talk about Pat and Candace Parker, 07, 08, Lady Vols, but outside of that, and he's the only one that's done anything. So, I'd like to get your quick thoughts. We'll jump into college football and everything, but I would have been remiss if we didn't bring up Tony V. I mean, he was at practice today. There was about a few hundred volunteer fans that just showed up randomly to try to pack the place out there in practice to try to convince him to stay. I mean, he threw a baseball up to the fans. Reports said, he didn't even sign it with his name. He just said, "Love you guys, go Vols." Want to be optimistic. I thought he would have already been named by Monday morning. I think the longer that it goes, it means he's going to stay. Being hopeful, but let me get your thoughts, Naveen. Let me pick your brain on this one. Tony V leaving the major leagues.
Yeah, I mean, I think every coach kind of had that aspiration to work your way from high school to college to pros. I don't feel like it's as much of a controversial thing. If he does it, he'll be like the first national championship winning college baseball coach to be an MLB coach. So that would be pretty interesting for him.
Skip the line, man. Yeah, because in Major League Baseball, you got to pay your dues. In the farm system, working in the farm system with other teams.
Yeah. So
for him to just come straight out of college, to your point, man, that's crazy.
It's like an alternative path, right? Like exactly what you said. Like usually you have to grind single A, double A, triple A, and eventually get there. But they kind of see what he's been doing for the past couple of years, and they obviously Giants like what they see. I think that ultimately this NIL shit it's a huge mess, and it's a little bit cloudy when you have one or two sports that pay for the rest of the sports, right? Like typically in that case it would be basketball and football primarily, then basketball, then XYZ, whatever's popular at your school. I think eventually they're going to have to go, if they're going to do revenue sharing, they have to go to a cap for NIL. Like, I think that's what this is all leading to, like establishing guardrails for what a school can pay for each of its teams. And it should be proportional to the revenue that you generate or the success you have, right? Like, I don't think we've had a national championship in the women's sports in a while.
Yeah, since I think 2008, with Pat and Candace Parker. Right. Last national championship for the Lady Vols. I mean, when you got Kim, it's causing a rift. You got Kim, our head women's basketball coach, and Tony kind of going at each other. Either directly or indirectly. It's not good for the overall athletics department. And I've been a Tennessee fan for a long time, and I've seen how the Lady Vol fans kind of morph into this own ostracized group of individuals compared to the rest of Tennessee fans. And it gets kind of weird. Anytime they get a little bit of success, it's almost like they shift this thing into like two separate athletic departments. They had the women's athletic department with Joan Cronin for many, many years. And until Dave Hart was hired back about 10 years ago, he ran her out of town. Pat obviously was sick with the dementia. She had to retire. You got Karen Weekly still hanging out as a softball coach. And it's just one of these things. It's almost like they're like a separate brand of Tennessee. And I don't think that does anything as far as unifying the collective. I say that kind of ironically, the collective athletic department and also the collective for the NIL, right? So, yeah, it's been a while since they've won anything. Tony's coming off a 2024 national championship. I mean, how many super regionals have we been to since he's been here? Countless SEC championships in baseball. He's the face of the brand, and I will say, yeah, to your point again, also, it's kind of a dream come true. It's almost like Tony's like the Nick Saban of college baseball right now with, Nick going to the NFL. I don't want to see a universe where Tony goes to the major leagues. We got a situation where he's there 3 or 4 years. He washes out because there's no salary cap. Because when you look at San Francisco, in that division, who are they competing against? The Dodgers, right? So, they're not even paying our favorite degenerate gambler, Ohtani, yet, right? I think he's still getting paid off his last deal. So they've got a king's ransom to pay whoever they want in LA. And I just don't think the Giants have the money in order to get Tony the firepower that he'd need. I think the only thing that's working against us too on that is there's 5 or 6 former Tennessee Vol players that played for Tony that are in the Giants farm system or with the Giants currently.
Yeah, I think ultimately it still would be a salary bump, and he doesn't have to.
But it's minimal. It's very minimal.
I think he makes $3 million now. I think they would pay him at least 5 to go to the Giants. I know difference between Tennessee and
the number I'm hearing is $3.5 million.
But
since he didn't come up, since he didn't earn his way up, they're not going to pay him outside of like an entry level manager salary. That's the news that I'm hearing on the street. I can't confirm that. I've heard multiple different reports that potentially a deal's done, but no hardcore this is the figure that he's going to get. When you take in taxes in California versus no taxes in Tennessee, it might be $500,000 different. But just I mean, when you're making that much money, do you really need do you need more? I don't think he's hurting for money. And I don't think that this is a money grab kind of thing. I think it's just a frustration with him and his AD. And if it's a money thing,
what I was about to say is he doesn't have to deal with any bullshit if he takes a Giants job.
Yeah, that part is very true.
He doesn't have to go to recruits. He doesn't have to compete for dollars to pay people NIL.
Fair.
So I think that's ultimately like, if you're pissed off, either you got to go leave and become like a TV analyst or become a manager in a better league or a bigger league. I think that's what people do now. And we weren't that. Contrarian point here. He did not have as good of a season last year as the year that he won. So maybe he's like, all right, while the iron's hot, while I still have a name for myself.
I mean, he still went to super regional, man. He still went to the super regional last year. So. He was one game away from going back to the College World Series. He went 3 years in a row before that. So,
but my thing is like you never know. You never know with these recruits and the rest of SEC. Like I feel like baseball is a little bit more anybody can win versus the other sports. So like it's a little bit harder to have.
I think Tennessee has the roster this year. I think to make a College World Series run. What I don't want to see, like I was saying, him there 2 or 3 years, and then he comes back to college baseball, but he doesn't come back to Tennessee. My worst nightmare is he replaces Dave Van Horn at Arkansas. That's my worst nightmare. That's something I can't bear to bring myself to even think about. But I'll close it with this. Please, Tony, don't go. We love you. Big donors, please. Peyton Manning, whoever, keep Tony V in town.
All right, let's switch gears here to what happened versus Alabama. If the audience didn't see, I did a live reaction by myself last week because I was pissed off about how we performed versus Bama. In my eyes, it wasn't close. You can see some of my thoughts if you check out our previous video, but let's get into that again as well. Josh, let me get your initial thoughts there.
Run the ball when you're on the goal line with 9 seconds left to go before halftime. Just run the fucking ball. That's it. If you run the ball, two things happen. You score or you don't. But Bama definitely doesn't score. You go down 9 points at the half versus, what happened. That was just inexcusable from a coaching standpoint. That's just flat out coaching malpractice. The clock management, they didn't have too big of a problem with it up until that last play. Then you call a timeout. Then they call a timeout. You come back into the same set. Like, everybody knows that when you're playing that bunch set right there, you got all those big guys in there. Everybody knows you're doing play action. You're rolling out. You're throwing the football. You're not running. So that's where it's coaching malpractice. You see those poor offensive staff guys, Joey Halsley, everybody with their hands on their face, freaking out like when it happens. That's been plastered all over Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all over the socials. You see the devastation there. They knew we're cooked at that point. And the frustrating part is we come out in the second half, we get a stop, 3 and out, we get the ball back, we go score. I mean, it really was a 14-point swing right there. We were trailing 10 points for the longest time. Again, if you don't do that right there, right before halftime, I mean, that was the nail in the coffin. It was almost like it gave me so many JG 2019 flashbacks of where he was on the goal line. We remember when Jeremy Pruitt pulled his face mask down. It was like just chewing his ass, telling him, don't ever do that again. Very similar, but Tennessee never disappoints, man. Just when you think there's no more ways that you can get punched right in the nuts as a Tennessee fan, they find a new, unique way to make that happen. Clearly, we have some issues on defense. We've been talking about it for weeks on end now, especially on the back end. Our DBs suck. I think we miss Coach Elker a lot. I know he went back to Nebraska. He was our special teams coach, linebackers coach. We have a problem tackling. Our tackling is terrible, undisciplined on the offensive side of the ball. Too many false starts. And then also on defense too, it's like every time something bad happens for Alabama where they don't make a play or they throw a ball, that's kind of uncatchable over the guy's head, for some reason we're still grabbing a guy, we're still putting our hands on him, and then here comes a flag. Like, I would not get excited anytime something negative happened for Alabama, because immediately it was a flag. And I'm not doing the blame the refs. I'm just saying we deserved it, because we're pulling this guy's pads all the way down, holding him the entire way. No way he could catch the ball. No reason to freaking touch him like that. It sailed over his head, but the refs got to make that call.
Yeah, I think what frustrated me, other than obviously the pick six, because that's max level frustration, was throwing the remote. Not a good scene at the Ramachandran house, but the Jeremy Bernard fake throw that he did, and he was 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and he somehow got past 6 defenders.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say 4 defenders right there on him.
Well, I couldn't believe. I had to watch that back, rewind it a couple times, because I couldn't imagine a scenario where we couldn't tackle him, and he got the first down on that play.
100%. He had been stopped dead to rights for a loss of 15 yards.
Yeah.
And it picks up the first down. And then you got the on fourth down on this, I think it's the same drive. Ty Simpson rolls out. He had that rushing touchdown there in the corner of the end zone. DB goes in, shoulder tackle, right? He just bounces off the DB into the end zone, touchdown.
Matador defense, Ole.
Yeah. Ole. Yeah. It's pulling the damn red flag up. It's just so frustrating because all the things that we said that would get us beat by a competent, good team, like you can do that against Arkansas. You can do that against the Mississippi State. Some of the things that we were fooling around with. But when you line up against a team that's as equally as talented, if not more talented than you from a star rating standpoint, you're doomed. You're doomed, man. And all it does, I think, is also lend more credence to a couple things that a lot of Tennessee fans can't stand about Josh Heupel teams and about just him in general. His road record, it's atrocious at this point. Can't beat anybody on the road with a pulse. I'm kind of sick of all the platitudes, especially before halftime. Yeah, we got 30 more minutes, guys. Go, we'll come back and we'll give it our best shot. Man, he needs to be
given your best shot on the last play.
Right.
When you don't have to give your best shot all the time in the fourth quarter when you do it in the first half.
Yeah.
So it's like
should have been ripping somebody's ass. Like that's me. Like that's what I expect from the coach at that point. It's like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, I will say, like, all in all, I think they have better players than us. I think that
I mean, you can check the star ratings. You can check the star ratings. That. Like that's
so we haven't won in 2000 since 2003 there. And I think that's for a reason. Most of the time they have better teams than us. I think that we set ourselves up to fail when we make a lot of stupid mistakes on penalties, right? Like, as you were saying, you can get away with it versus mediocre teams. And by the way, we barely got away with it versus mediocre teams. Arkansas, right? It's a little deceiving, the score, because we went from 17 to up 3. But Mississippi State, like, we were in a dogfight with them. It was not easy for us to win, right? Went to OT. Versus Bama and versus Georgia, like, all it takes is one mistake, right? In Georgia, I would say we played relatively mistake-free football, more encouraged by what I saw versus Georgia. But versus Alabama, they sort of just controlled the game, never let it get below 10 after the first half. And that's a sign that they're in control of what they do. They don't make penalties as much as we do. And they force us to make mistakes. And some of our strengths they took away. Like, I wanted to report that they had 0 sacks. Like, Tennessee had 0 sacks on Ty Simpson versus we were basically the highest.
We gave up four sacks.
Yeah, we gave up 4 sacks,
Joey.
which is fine. Like, Bama D line is better than the usual D lines we face. But the fact that we couldn't get any, whereas other teams, like, let's say Vandy, had no problem sacking Ty Simpson, it's kind of discouraging. So I think that, it's not looking good for this season based on the trend that we're seeing. I think obviously we have Kentucky coming up. I think that should be a get back game for us. But
I mean, they played Texas down to the wire, So
if we play,
there's no easy win. There's no easy win in the SEC,
right,
man. Just
right.
not.
They have one more guaranteed win, which is New Mexico State. Kentucky, I believe that we will win, but we have 3 tough games left. Like I said in our live show, we have Oklahoma, that's at home. We have at Florida, and we have hosting Vandy. I don't know that we're better than Oklahoma and Vandy right now. I think we are better than Florida, but we could never win in Gainesville. So I don't know, 7-5, 8-4, 9-3. It's looking like that's what's going to be our record. And
I'm looking. I mean, I think I'm staring 8-4 in the face, man. I really do. Yeah. I think Florida definitely is a loss, and Oklahoma or Vanderbilt. We'll split that. We'll split. I don't know if we beat Vandy or we beat Oklahoma, but one of the two, I think we find a way to lose it.
Yeah, it's not kind of trending in the best direction.
Now, I don't know if we can get Jermod or and Ricky Gibson back in that final stretch. I think that actually could help us out. If we could get those two guys back on defense, like if I have my crystal ball and they're playing against Oklahoma. Let's say we get them both back for Oklahoma. I think Tennessee could run the table then. I really do. I just think it's such a liability, especially with Colton Hood and the way that he's matured and come along this season. I'm a really big fan, very high on Colton Hood. But I would say, our back end, if we have those locks for NFL draft picks back there, man, I think we could easily go 10-2 and finish out and be, on the road in a first round playoff game. But if we don't get those guys back, it's over.
Basically, Josh, I would just want to say there's no more margin for error, right?
Absolutely not.
We can't sit here and say, okay, they're going to go 2-2 or they're going to go 2-3 or 3-2 for the rest of the stretch. There's no margin for error at this point. Like you
have to win out.
There's too many good teams. Like I think it's unlike other years where you have 6-7 teams that are one loss right now, and the meat of the schedule is coming up for all of these teams.
Yeah, 10-2 will barely get you in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, it's not a guarantee, right? So basically, you have 3 teams that from the Big Ten that's going to make it. You have let's do this. 3 teams from Big Ten. You got 1 ACC. There's 8 left. You got 1 Big 12.
Yep.
7 left.
And you got group of 4. You got your highest ranked group of 4.
Probably South Florida. So
go Bulls.
Yeah, you got 7 spots left for the entire rest of the country. There's no guarantee that 5 SEC teams are going to make it, or 6, or whatever we need.
I'd say max it's going to be 4, and you got to look at it holistically. It's like you got A&M, you got Georgia, you got Bama. And then outside of those 3, who you got? Ole Miss?
Yeah, we're competing with Ole Miss, Vandy, Mizzou. A lot of teams there. Like a lot of teams who might have.
So to your point, the margin of error is terribly small.
Yeah, and most of those teams only have 1 loss versus us with 2. I think LSU is the only team that's in our boat with 2 losses. So we'll see what it takes to get there, but based on
but we could potentially knock one of those out, and that's Vandy. So we can there are some things we can control, but we definitely have to.
Yeah, I think my point though, Josh, is third loss equals death with so many teams
absolutely.
out there.
And it doesn't matter who it's to or where it's at.
Yeah,
you're 9-3, you're not going to playoffs.
Right. So, you only got 1 shot, 1 opportunity, and it starts with Kentucky. Kentucky, they always play pretty well at home in like these defensive shootouts, and I think that's what we'll see versus them again. Like they would love for the game to be like 13-10 or some sort of low-scoring affair and just showcase their defense. They kind of did a really good job versus Texas on playing them. Texas, obviously, I watched a little bit of that game, and they have no O-line. I know that our O-line is better than Texas's O-line, so I'm not as worried about Kentucky doing what they do versus them. But just for the morale of the fans, I would like a 20-point win. I'm not willing to accept anything lower.
Blowout.
Yeah, I know the spread is 9.5. I'd like to. I would have loved for it to be 17.5 or 18 or something like that, because that's what we're capable of, and we haven't really played to our potential in so long, man. Right?
Maybe the Syracuse game, like that was the last time we played up to our standard. It felt like.
Yeah, and like we don't cover spreads anymore. That's not fun as a Tennessee fan and better. Like I have to fucking wait. Like I now know, okay, let me not bet Tennessee before the game. I have to wait for them to go down and then potentially bet on them. So all that shit is coming to say that, man, like, Josh Heupel, you owe us a fucking beatdown. That's
Yes, you
what I
do.
like to say, Josh. That's what it is. Keys to winning versus Kentucky, Josh.
Limit turnovers, limit self-inflicted penalties.
I would say sack the quarterback.
Yeah, and I don't think this is going to be a problem to do that against Kentucky. I will tell you, keys to win. Outside of like being cliche, those things. Just playing clean football, complimentary football, and all three phases of the game. It's been a long time since we've seen Tennessee do that. Special teams has been hit or miss all year. Then you also think about our offensive woes that we go into at times. Defense has played, I would say, pretty well. Sometimes we get put in some bad matchups and our young secondary fails us. But as far as our front versus theirs, I think it's a big nothing burger. Death and taxes.
We haven't given up less than 17 points in a game this year. And I think that we need to hold them to 10 or under. I would love to see single digits out there from Tennessee.
Man, I would too. And I will tell you the last thing on Tony V, man. Thank God for Tony V getting all this attention because Josh Heupel's ass should be getting fucking fried after what happened Saturday.
I was about to get the notebook out. I was about to get the notebook out and make my sign, but I decided not to.
He's got to be thanking God that the Giants are wanting to hire the most popular coach we've had in a long time to take all that heat off of him after what that slop that he rolled out there in Tuscaloosa on Saturday, man. He lost a lot of support, I think, with the fan base, and we're growing tired of it. Him and the guy that hired him, we're growing tired of him too. Just asking for more money and not getting the results, it's getting really frustrating.
Yeah. Step up, earn the money. That's what I'll say to Josh Heupel. I'm okay with giving anybody a raise as long as they earn it, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back and talk about some of the bigger games that happened over the week outside of Tennessee. We had Notre Dame kind of handled USC. It was a close game, and they kind of had that punt return or kickoff return to kind of make it 10 points. Good performance by them, and it looks like they're going to make it in the playoffs.
Yeah, Notre Dame's a cockroach, man. It's hard to kill them.
Should we just go and go independent?
Hey, I think might be the key to success.
Yeah. So in other news around the college football world, Vandy put a good stomping on LSU. Like, that's the kind of game I'd like to see from us versus Kentucky. Like, nice old-fashioned beatdown. Pavia shit talking, emoting, doing everything he can to possibly make clips. Hit a Heisman pose. Joey, hit a Heisman pose. Dude, do something, man. I think you owe us one, just like your coach owes us one. So good to see from Vandy, like, knocking a traditional powerhouse out in LSU. So really good performance from them. And probably the banger of the weekend was Georgia Ole Miss. High flying, crazy game.
How did St. Lane allow? I mean, it almost looked like our game against them.
Yeah,
there were so many like common themes.
Yeah,
we were up big, let them come back late. You let their quarterback beat you. He's not good. Gunnar Stockton's like, you can't convince me Gunnar Stockton's good.
Is Gunnar Stockton better than Joey Aguilar?
Absolutely not.
Okay. But yeah, like, I think there was a point in time where every single Ole Miss drive was a touchdown for like
Does Gunnar Stockton have more weapons around him than Joey Aguilar? Absolutely.
Probably, but that's also Josh.
I mean, we have a 3-man rotation at receiver, man. And none of them seem to catch it except Chris Brazzell lately. Good grief. We lead college football in drop passes. You realize that?
Kitzelman, he killed me with the drop.
Good grief.
He's got to go. He's got to go, man. Some of these kids, you got to just kick them the fuck out at this point.
Yeah.
If you're going to drop, take away their NIL or kick them out. That's my thing. You lose $20,000 per drop. You'll solve the drops. You'll solve the drops real fast.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Like I talked about this on the live reaction too. Like, when are we going to get a good wide receiver recruit or transfer portal? Like,
well, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, Mike Matthews is a 5-star wide receiver. You know, Braylon Staley, highly recruited. Chris Brazzell from Tulane, highly recruited out of the transfer portal. I think it has a lot to do with Kelsey Pope. I think Kelsey Pope is just not a good position coach for our wide receivers. I think we truly miss, having a solid offensive coordinator. I think Alex Golish, absolutely helped us out when it came to the offensive side of the ball. I know he wasn't the wide receiver positions coach. Bear with me. I can't remember who it was before Chelsea Pope.
Yeah. I'll just talk while you look that up. But yeah. I think guess who's knocking on the door in terms of AP poll? Golish is on our ass.
Yeah, Cody Burns. He played at Auburn, and he was basically the guy that set up Jalen Hyatt to win the Biletnikoff. So
yeah, and I think I talked about this last time too, but we haven't had a first or second round draft pick wide receiver since 2013. Cordell Patterson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and then he didn't even play wide receiver really when he got to the league. He was a kick returner and a running back.
I think what's interesting is we can't get these guys to, have success in the NFL. So if you are a premier wide receiver, would you go to Tennessee with the current infrastructure? Probably not.
We got the number 1 coming in. Keys is coming next year.
Hopefully that solves some of this mess. But
Keys and Faison Brandon.
Mm-hmm. Faison Brandon is the quarterback, right?
Yeah, number 1 player in the country. So we've had those two. Bergen Catholics, number 1 player in the country, 5-star. Jarrett Garantano. Shout out to Bergen County, New Jersey.
Yep.
But didn't really pan out.
We'll see these 5 stars play 5-star quality because we seem to get them, and then sometimes they don't.
Yeah, and I think it's just a Tennessee thing. I'll be honest with you, because I mean, you remember my favorite 5-star Vol basketball player, Triple J.
Yeah,
he never really lived up to the billing either. So maybe it's just like they forget they're a 5-star once they get here. Maybe we coach the 5-star out of them. I don't know.
I watched an interview with this NFL's player's mom once, and she said all an extra star means is a bonus for whoever recruited you. So it's a lot of just marketing. It's not necessarily how good you are on the field. It's what your potential could possibly be. And I thought that was an interesting point because I never really thought about it from the
it doesn't equal success.
Right. So just wanted to get that out there. Preview some of the big games. We have Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Vandy, Mizzou, LSU, A&M. I feel like Vandy, Mizzou is the same thing as Vandy, LSU.
Can you believe, Naveen, College Game Day is going to the Vanderbilt Mizzou game in Nashville?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I think it's a little bit of a change of guard moment. Like that's prime time. That's what people want to see. People want to see Diego Pavia now, and they're getting to see them all the time.
You think
Prime
so? You
time.
think people want to see this game?
I think so. I think he's an intriguing story right now. I think they'd rather go see Pavia than Joey, hype wise and kind of performance wise, right? Like Pavia's got a big win. Does Joey have one? I don't think so. So I think Vandy's going to win and cover again.
I don't know. Leave it to Rugrat, man. Drinkowitz, man. He took Bama down to the wire. So I know Vandy played Bama pretty tough as well, but I think Missouri's going to beat their ass.
We'll see.
But it's one of those games where I hate both of them. Like, because I can't stand Eli Drinkowitz, and I can't stand Vanderbilt. But yeah, I think Rugrat, he's going to figure it out.
All right.
So,
what are your thoughts on this Ole Miss Oklahoma game?
well, you got old one hand Mateer. I think St. Lane's going to rebound after the Georgia loss. You know, you had Jimmy Sexton down there on the sideline during the game. Poor taste, if you ask my opinion on that. But obviously, he's wanting to set himself up to be shopped really well in this coaching, hiring season. So I think Lane's time at Ole Miss is coming to an end. I think this will probably be his last year in Oxford. But I think he's got to rebound here. Take care of the Sooners. Position his Rebels up for a spot in the CFP. So again, he knows the opportunity at hand here, but he also realizes the effect of losing this game as well.
Yeah. Last one, I'll take this one. LSU plus 2.5. A&M. I think A&M is going to win the game. I think they're
going to slaughter them.
I don't. I think one of the biggest frauds of this college football season is Garrett Nussmeier. He looks lost, and I think A&M can easily kind of take them down.
I'm agreeing with you. I think A&M is going to slaughter LSU.
Yeah. So those are
like it won't even be close.
Those are our picks. Definitely, we're in agreement on Ole Miss and A&M, and then we're kind of chopped on Vandy versus Mizzou. In other big news, Napier out. So, Josh, I'll let you dance on
Sunbelt Billy. I heard somebody call him Rust Belt Billy. But Sunbelt Billy, man, it was pretty predictable. I remember when they hired him from Louisiana, and it was just another, hire that was one of those is like, oh yeah, he's up and comer, got a lot of potential, but he's not really proven. And
yeah, I think
it kind of played out that way. Still, we've managed to lose to him twice. Yeah. I don't even know how we did that.
Yeah, and we almost lost last year too. Could have been easily 3 times. So, yeah, man, I just don't think he was ready for this level. Right? He probably need to go to a Big 12 team and then go to the SEC.
Well, no, that's right. He only beat us once. He only beat us once there in the swamp. That's my bad. Because I think
Hendon Hooker won.
Yeah, Hooker beat him, and we beat him at home last year because he was only there 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Because what was his name from Mississippi State? Mullen. Dan Mullen was there Heupel's first year when we went down there and blew it in the swamp. So, but either way, I still don't know how we lose to Sunbelt Billy. He's awful. I'm still in a group chat with Joe Blackburn, Josh Joseph, huge Gator fans. They always like trolling me. I feel bad for them. They're kind of in the same position that Tennessee was. I would say roughly 15 years ago when we started hiring the Derek Dooleys, the Bush Joneses, and the Jeremy Pruitts. Our program had slipped and basically became irrelevant. So that's kind of where the Gators are right now. Unfortunately, they have a lot of money, which is kind of weird to me how they struggle so much with that amount of NIL funds. So we'll see, man. I don't know who Florida's going to get. Like, who you going to go hire? Does Lane Kiffin have the ability, even if they hired him? Do you think Lane's ceiling is kind of what it's always been? He's like a 10-win guy. He's not going to get it done no matter where he's at.
I think, Lane's up for the job. What other big openings could Lane take? Maybe Penn State. I doubt it that they want him, but maybe they do. But
you think James Franklin could make it down to Gainesville?
I think so. I think he's, that's the level that they're at. Like, they want to make the playoff again. Technically, James Franklin can get you there, but he can't win the big game. So I don't know, man. I just think it's very hard. The openings that are open are hard places to go and win. So it's a little bit different than like going in and taking the Alabama job or taking the Ohio State job or, premier programs like that. So not that easy to win at Florida, especially with the talent that they have. They do have money, but what does money get you? Money hasn't got you shit in 15 years. So
my have the mighty have fallen, but at least they got that basketball natty to rest on, coming off that one. So if you're a Gator fan, you kind of got to look at things
holistically.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, let's talk about a little bit of the AP polls. Make this bigger for you guys. So right now we got too big. Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3, Bama 4, Georgia 5, Oregon 6. I think that's correct. I wouldn't really change anything there. Georgia Tech is in there. Ole Miss, Miami lost. Vandy with the big win, and BYU kind of looking in. We're at 17 right now.
Yep, 17.
And we dropped 6 spots. I think that's fair, honestly. No real complaints there. What we were talking about earlier, Alex Golish, he's all the way up to 18 now. Wouldn't be surprised if South Florida finishes way above Tennessee this year. Sad to say. Louisville with a strong performance beating Miami. I know we didn't talk about that over the recap, but they played really well and they kind of dominated Miami. LSU, obviously huge loss to Vandy. And, for them to stay in the playoff or stay in the top 20, they have to beat A&M, and I don't think that they're going to get that done. Cincinnati, Texas, Illinois, Arizona State, Michigan State kind of close out what we've been the top 25. I think that now it's a little less bullshit, the AP rank, as we get closer to the college playoff.
Dust is kind of settling, right?
Yeah, like I think you can probably make an argument like what would happen if Georgia Tech played Miami? I think Miami would fucking smoke them, but if you don't lose, you're going to be high in the rankings. That's ultimately it. So you can only play the teams that are on your schedule in front of you, and I think it'll work out by the time the 12-team playoff exists. I think we'll start to get the the college playoff come out starting in a week or two, like the playoff predictions and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's typically after Halloween,
yeah, once it gets to November, they're comfortable enough to start publishing that. So, all in all, I think like what have we learned so far in this podcast? Like, we don't have that much of a margin for error. We basically have to run the table, and hopefully we can. And it starts with the Kentucky game coming up. All right, so now we can kind of switch gears to NFL. I wanted to talk about probably the most interesting game that we have on our schedule from last week, which is Giants versus Broncos. Giants were 19-0 into the fourth quarter, 26-8, and kind of had one of the most historic punts I've ever seen in an NFL game. You might see like a 20
It was terrible.
20-point comeback in college, but not really at the NFL level. Really bad decision making, really bad coaching. And I think, dude, like what we've learned is like if you have Jackson Dart, you're kind of in the game. Like he's playing pretty well.
The CTE boys.
CTE boys are strong, dude. Like Cam Scatterboy and Jackson Dart, for whatever reason, their style of play translates so far in the NFL. I'm not saying it will for years to come, but at least in this 4-game stretch where Jackson Dart's playing, he's playing well.
Sure. I'm give you that.
So you're kind of wasting a lot of talent, and Brian Daboll, the coach of the Giants, is fucking punting this shit. So people here in New York are pissed, New Jersey, obviously, as well. And they think that, you finally drafted someone that's worth a damn and you're misusing him / not doing this. Like when you're up 20 points in the fourth quarter as an NFL team, you shouldn't really lose, right? And you kind of see it. How does that happen? Nobody's telling Jackson Dart like, hey, let the clock run down to 3 seconds before you hike the ball. You see a lot of mistakes. You saw a pick from Jackson Dart. We also saw a lot of like extreme prevent defense very early on in the fourth. And Dave Portnoy had a good quote like, prevent defense prevents a win. So it's like, just play your normal defense.
Something Tennessee has learned over the years. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Tying it back, like going back to what Andy always says, like, don't play not to lose. Like, if your style of defense got you to 19-0, that's probably what you should continue to play because they can't figure it out, right? And let's not give Bo Nix a chance to come back and be a hero at that point. So, really interesting game in terms of that. Wanted to talk about maybe let's go through AFC and NFC. I'll take NFC if you take AFC, Josh, and tell me best 3 teams in the NFC, in the AFC, and then I'll go with NFC afterwards, based on what you've seen so far this season.
I'd say we got to go with Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of struggled coming out of the gate, but it looks like they found themselves. This is no like power ranking in like order, just the three best, I think. So Chiefs in the mix. Got to go with, as much as it pains for me to say this. I can't even talk. I can't even say it. The Coats, strong performance out of my AFC South rival, the Coats, and man.
Maybe the Pats?
I'd have to say Buffalo, man.
Buffalo.
That was probably my top 3. Patriots, Buffalo, kind of interchangeable, but if I had to, I'd actually probably move the Pats back up because I think they're playing a really good style of defense. That's staple of Mike Vrabel. How about the Titans cheering for Mike Vrabel, man? Titans fans chanting Vrabel. Vrabel. I mean, it had to be embarrassing for Amy Adams Strunk to have all of her attendees to that game basically giving her the FU and welcoming Mike back home. But so those are probably my top 3 slightly followed by Buffalo at number 4.
Yeah, so I think for NFC, if I were to do the same thing, you have the Lions showed up pretty strongly, so I'll put them in there. They kind of manhandled the Bucks, so gotta give them respect. Alternatively, I would choose whoever wins the NFC West. It's kind of interesting. They have 3 teams that are tied for 5-2. Technically, Niners have the lead because they've beaten both the Rams and the Seahawks at this point. So I'll go with Niners for now. And then again, like you got to decide which version of these teams come in. It's a toss up between Packers and Eagles for me. If Eagles can actually run the ball and, play properly, they shouldn't really lose. So I'll say Eagles, but caveat on them, not really the best. I want to go with the biggest losers right now. Like, just don't watch these teams.
Titans.
Saints are really bad. Titans are bad. Obviously, Jets 0-7.
Yeah.
They're good contenders to go winless at this point. And yeah, maybe Raiders or let's check who else is really bad. Saints, Cardinals also. Cardinals seem like they're in every.
You lose to the Titans, man. You're terrible.
Yeah,
terrible.
Man. And that was the worst football I've ever seen. Titans Cardinals game. Fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was
my God. Really bad.
It was bad.
Really bad. So those are kind of our winners and losers so far. I wanted to talk about three spreads that I think are interesting coming up. We have Vikings plus 3.5 versus the Chargers, Cowboys plus 3.5 versus the Lions, and Packers minus 3.5 versus the Steelers. I just don't think Chargers are that good, and I'm biased Vikings fan, so I would probably take Vikings. Cowboys and the Lions. Cowboys offense is sick right now. Dak's playing really well, so I think it's might be a good time to pop a curiosity plus 3.5 versus the Lions. I think Lions will win. Lions will win the game, but they won't be able to shut out Cowboys like they did to the Bucks. Kind of first bad Baker Mayfield game last night. So
he's good for one of those a year,
Yeah, and I think Dak is. If you just look at the stats, Dak is playing some of the best football probably of his career. I don't really like the Cowboys, but I do like their offense. It's fun. It's fun betting over on Cowboys.
Well, Joe Milton is pushing him, playing time.
That's why as we know, Joe Milton, best practice player of all time.
He's throws the football 100 yards. If you didn't know.
Yeah, probably pushing Dak to throw a little farther. Fuck it, CD or George Pickens down there. So
yeah.
don't really worry about anything else. Like, they're down there, and now that CD is back, like it looks nice.
Yeah. 100% agree.
Packers, Steelers, Aaron Rodgers Bowl. I don't know. Packers, I don't really trust Jordan Love. But Steelers defense is really bad. Like, we saw Joe Flacco carve them
up, dude. Talking about a game, though, we failed to mention that was a great game from last week.
And like, it's funny, like Joe Flacco, it was just like, all right, I'm not throwing to anybody else. I'm throwing to Jamar Chase, and
which is a great business decision.
Yeah, it's sick, right? Like, I think like both of them over 100. Jamar Chase had like 15 catches and 150 and a touchdown. It's really easy when you have elite players at wide receiver. So I hope Josh Heupel watched that game and said, okay, I need to find me Jamar Chase. Who's the next Jamar Chase? So
Tristan Keys, apparently.
Hopefully it turns out that way. last segment of the day is my best bets. I think that I have 6 teams that I'm going to go with. USF minus 4.5 versus Memphis. Memphis is not really that good. So
Beat Arkansas.
Beat Arkansas, but Arkansas is really not that good. So that's my logic there. They had a big loss last week too. I just don't think that they get it done. Indiana, UCLA. Give me UCLA. Nico's cooking right now. Plus 25.5. I think it could be like a 21-point game, 21-point loss. I don't think necessarily it's a huge
undefeated in conference play, UCLA.
Yeah. Funny enough, that's a big game because if they beat Indiana or something crazy happens, like they're setting themselves up for a Big Ten championship game.
Yeah.
Ole Miss plus 4.5. I do think that Bama is going to slaughter South Carolina. Bama minus 12.5. And then BYU plus 3.5 versus Iowa State. BYU is the real deal. They could be a playoff team pretty easily if they just continue how they've been continuing. And then Utah at night. Utah is playing Colorado at night. I think it's minus 13.5. Blast Utah. That's my NCAA picks. I'm going with my usual NFL strategy of taking all dogs. Panthers plus 7.5, Niners plus 1.5, Giants plus 7.5, Cowboys plus 3.5. So going with all dogs in NFL. So again, guys, like what do we talk about today? Sadly, we have Tony V news, we have Bama loss news, kind of bleak college football outlook on the rest of our schedule. I think that we can right the ship on starting with Kentucky. Like we should be able to fucking demolish them. Like I think out of the last 40 years, they've won 3 times. We've won 37 times. So
yeah.
This should be a big lock. And if it's not,
death and taxes, brother.
If it's not, that seat's gonna get fucking scorching for Josh Heupel. So watch out for that.
If he loses to Kentucky, it's over. Yeah, it's over.
So just watch out for that.
I'm telling you, he's going to be with Billy Napier if he loses to Kentucky.
Yeah, I think that he has less. I looked up his. Hey, did you look up his buyout after the Bama loss? Because I did. I think it's
we got the money. We got the money.
It's like $37 million for Heupel's buyout. So
Alex Golesh.
Dude, I was just about to say that. I think we need to get Alex Golesh back in and get like a legit wide receivers coach, defensive backs coach, and probably take Tim Banks out too. Let's just fucking clean it out.
Yeah, Tim Banks needs to be taken out back like old Yeller and just put down.
So
not in a literal sense, but I mean, he just needs to be. Got to go, man. It's time.
Yeah.
That dog has been beat down. That poor defense. And people want to say, the defense was great last year, man. I know we're trying to wrap up, but this is one thing I got to rail on one more time. And damn it, quit taking the bait. He's been here 5 years. He's had one good season as a DC. The other 4 has been absolutely atrocious. Stop lying to yourself. People were saying that Tim Banks was a candidate to be a head football coach. Good grief, please. Somebody hire him. Anybody, please take him. Florida. Yes. We would love for you to take him off of our hands. But yeah, hate to be kind of downtrodden this show. I will tell you, I'm really struggling to believe that we're going to have anything more than, I think our ceiling's 9-3. I'm probably, if I had to bet all my money right now, I'm looking at 8-4 as like a real possibility, probably going to happen. And then you got the Tony V news on top of it with all the infighting that's going on at the school with the athletic department. So Good week to rebound with Kentucky. It's that's one of those games you schedule for homecoming if you're Tennessee. I know we're going on the road, but still, let's give Josh a softball to kind of get his road record kind of on the right side, or at least back to 500, and go take care of the Wildcats. We got college basketball coming up pretty soon, man. We got some scrimmages. It'll be nice. We got a scrimmage with Duke coming up the next couple weeks. It'll be great. We'll cover that at great length on the upcoming episodes. You all know as well as we do, we really love college basketball on Lucky Top Sports. Rick Barnes will do everything to take us on the highest of highs and then drop us to the lowest of lows. And we're here for the ride, baby. But we got a big team coming up this year with the Tennessee men's basketball squad. A lot of promise, a lot of talent. And Nate Ament is going to be a household name in college basketball. Dude's a phenom. His nose is above the rim when he's dunking the basketball. Saw some outlandish pictures of him today in practice, and he is a freak, an absolute freak of nature. So lots to look forward to with Ball's basketball coming up. So fear not if his football doesn't work out. Rick, Pastor or Deacon Barnes has got the boys ready for a promising campaign and ranked preseason top 25. So I'm Josh for Lucky Top Sports. He's Naveen. We appreciate you guys coming in tonight. Or in the morning, whenever you're watching this, get those best bets in. Naveen really gave you some good gems there. So if you're in a state that allows you to go ahead and put some of those picks in, or you got a bookie on the side, do yourself a favor. Make a couple wages, get you some coins. Holidays are coming up. Might need to get a little extra scratch to go the distance.
If your team loses, that doesn't mean you have to lose. Right, you
Exactly.
can still win. You can still profit on the week if your team loses.
Fade Tennessee, probably a good idea.
Yeah. Last 4 weeks, it's been a lock. Not saying to do it this week, but let's turn this ship around. Let's give us some hope, Josh Heupel. Personal call out to you. Earn the money, right? We talked about it earlier. You want more money? Happy to give it to you if you earn it. So let's win out and go Vols.
Go Vols. Have a good week. See ya.